Okay, now we're live. Okay. Okay, so anyway, so we're in our self-help session and it's dealing with books, beauty, business, and beyond. We're just dealing with everything in this session. And so we have a very full panel, as you can see, of great minds, and they have some awesome works here. And they're going to introduce themselves. They're going to talk a little bit about their books. We're going to do some Q&A, and then they're going to tell you how you can reach them. Okay, that is the order, and that's how we're going to flow. But before we do that, though, I want us to open up with a poem. And our dear friend Rashida is going to open us up with a poem, and then I may have you pray for us, Tia. But no, we're gonna definitely open up with the poem, and then you feel so led, Tia, because Tia said we need prayer. So and that's what she does. So we may let her just open up. In fact, we're gonna start with Tia. And Tia will open up prayer if she can. Maybe I think I was working on it. And then you pass it to be scribble. We go by Brandy or be scribble right now.
Well, Brandy's my name, and this is my author's name, so I'm
Be
Brandy.
scribble.
Yeah. I like be scribble.
Be scribble, yeah, I love be scribble. Okay, right now she's be scribble. Okay, all right. Let's open up the poem.
Hello, everyone. This is a poem from Blackology written by Miss Phyllis Y. Whitley. In whispers low, the world did try to cage her spirit born to fly. Ignorance, they hissed, but she knew in her the wisdom is ancient, true. Labeled ugly by those who deemed themselves cruel, nappy hair, they laughed, yet each coral gleamed like jewels. But her mirror told a story of a beauty so divine. Her hair coral crown, and majestic sign of lineage was fine. Big butt, they mocked, a just so mean. She stood firm, a vibrant queen. Big nose, big lips, features so grand, honored marks from the ancestral land. Oriole, mulatto, terms meant to divide, she embraced it with cultural pride. Drama queen, they aimed to scorn, yet she, a warrior, was reborn. Labeled undesirable, a cut so keen, but her heart knew her worth unseen. Cherished and valued, a treasure refined, her true worth within she'd always find. Crafted by God from the vast unknown, I yearn. See me for who I truly am, a queen carved from the universe's grand plan. In her gentle whisper, she declared, I am the first of God's work to emerge from the void. Recognize me for who I am, no less than a queen in all my grace and finesse. Oh, this is written by Phyllis Bartley, who's sitting next to me. It's an amazing author and talented poet.
Awesome. Go pass it to Tia.
I guess we're friends. Okay, if you will bow or whatever you feel comfortable doing. Well, thank you for this day. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for the ability to operate in our gifts and talents. Thank you for the platforms that you have blessed us to have. I pray that we use them responsibly. I pray that lives are changed enormously, tremendously. I pray that gifts and talents are unlocked and that everyone receives exactly what they need from this engagement. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. We should open up. Go ahead and be scribble. Now go ahead and first part. You don't like that side, but go ahead, Brandy. Introduce yourself.
Okay. All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is a blessing.
Hold on, Mike.
This is a blessing to be here at a historically
amazing Black-owned bookshop. Who knew, right? So this is my first project, and I'm excited to give my words to the world. It was born out of my own experience. It's called Selfish Love. It's one of those things where I go there because who are we when we say we love? Do we really? Do we truly love, and how? And I just delve into parenting, relational, marriage, and of course my own personal experience on how I found out what real love is. When you receive it, then you give it, and only then can you give it. And it's from my creator. So this book is one of those things where yes, it covers roses, but love is not all roses, so that's why it's shattered. So you'll get some good takeaways from this, and hopefully some personal growth. So thank you.
My name is Tia Cole. I am the owner of the business called the Cole Lab. We are your development destination. This book, though, was a divine assignment that I received a whole long time ago. It took me over 10 years to actually write it and to publish it. But it took as long as it was supposed to because it wouldn't be what it is today if I had done it on time. So the Lord knew what He was doing. But it is a journey through some stories about my life that I am inviting the reader to connect with me on, right? And to also journey with me. So it's not meant to be voyeuristic. I know people just reading about stuff that I've gone through, but to understand that life gets ugly. He hasn't promised that life will be perfect. He just promised not to leave us while we're going through it. And so how do we move through those times that are not so good, that are, we're waiting on God to answer some prayers for us, but we still got to live and we still got to move forward. And sometimes the answer is no. And how do we deal with that? And so it just talks about love and relationships and family and all those things and anxiety and depression and all those other things that we have to deal with in the world and how we move through that, how we reflect and use those experiences to empower ourselves and those around us. So that's what that is.
Let the cord get short. Now it's my turn. Hello, everyone. I am Miss Neek, also known as Miss Neek Revamp, and I have several books here. As far as talking about relationships, I have a memoir entitled "If My Past Wasn't So Dark, My Future Wouldn't Shine So Bright." Unlike this beautiful lady, this is voyeuristic. You are going through the journey with me. I speak to you in first person, so it's literally like I'm telling you what's going on. Very, very deep, very dark. But then you look at me now and say, "Hi, okay, she's shining." It covers a lot of things. Mental illness. It covers, SA. Domestic violence, teen pregnancy, being, raised in a system. I mean, it covers quite a bit of my life. This is my memoir, so this is my real life. But this is only my real life from age 8 to 16. So all of those things were endured in 8 small years, which felt like a lifetime. And that's in my memoir. But then I have a new book, which I just released 2 weeks ago, called Young and Dumb. So one fun fact about me is I am a mom of 10. So I know 2 things very well. I know children very well, and I know entrepreneurship very well. And I'll couple both of those things together in the Young and Dumb. Young and Dumb is a phrase a lot of us older people know. That's what we kind of threw out there when we did stuff that was probably foolish. But this is the Young and Dumb we want you to be. Because DUMB is an acronym for Dreamers Unleashing Motivated Businesses. And in my opinion, until we can cast our children out here in the world and say that we're done and we wash our hands of them, we have to give them every opportunity to actually thrive. We got to give them a playing field that they can actually try to build on. And so what I've done was I created this book. It target audiences starts at age 7. So I'm teaching entrepreneurship from age 7 on up to 150,000. Okay. So that's just one of the things that I'm doing with the Young and Dumb book. So very different books, but very prevalent and very important on many levels.
Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Phyllis Wine Whitley. And who am I? I am a holistic relationship coach. consultant, podcaster, and teacher. What do? I change your world by revising your whispers. What are your whispers? Your inner thoughts, the seeds that was planted in your head from a young age. And now, my mission is to revise your whisper by changing your world. And how do I do it? Through your mind, body, and soul, through my products. Why do I do it? So you can live your promised land today, not tomorrow. Now, what happens when you get in your promised land? It's not there for you. It's for you to have a platform to regain your voice so you can go out there and help others that look like you. The first book I have done, I was blessed to do. And this was a divine connection from God. It is called Spiritology. It says your secret guide to breaking your religious shackles and become a spiritual sorrow. What I do here is I teach you about your self-image from perspective of shepherd slaughtering, from leaders who have changed your world by giving you words and dropping seeds or doing things that they're not supposed to do for you. And the scary part of it is because Black people are brought up in the church. We've seen some stuff that we can't discuss. And we put all our trust in a spiritual leader that might not be doing us justice. And the reason for that is I show you, this book is for everybody in your family where those religious seeds come from. So you can recognize, especially for your children, those seeds are out there in the street waiting for your kids. So this one right here, don't let it go by you. The next thing I was brought to do is, of course, ask Jalen, that particular seed is the bully seed. Because once you go after the kids, that child will grow up to become an adult. And those seeds of you're ugly, you're not good enough, you don't look like Barbie doll. Do you understand? It's going to follow them the rest of their life. That was Ask Jalen. Then I was blessed to go for wordology. Sticks and stones might break your bone, but words will definitely harm you. Somebody lied to you. The word is so powerful. Why is it so powerful? In this book, you will find out that's why they beat us. That's why they took the word from us. Because without the word, who could you be? You can't even dream and you can't even have a vision without the word. So this right here is letting you know why, how, but it's also a solution of how you can break out of that image of letting the people or revise those seeds that come into you because they say you will never be anybody because of your skin color. From there, I went to, recently, Blackology. Blackology is for the sisters because they didn't tell you that you're the original queens. So you walk around this universe thinking, if I don't look like a Barbie doll, I'm not gonna make it. If I don't go get a weave down my butt that is blonde, I'm not gonna make it. But did anybody tell you that you're the queen? There's a reason why your nose is a certain way. It's a reason why your texture is a certain way. This book right here is going to change your image of yourself because you will no longer walk this universe saying, I want to be her. And I'll teach you how to overlook those industries who look at you like you're ugly. I teach you that your ugliness was made from the hands of God. So you will find out who you are. And in ending, I'm going to just say this from the back of the book. It says, they whispered to her, you are ignorant, ugly, nappy head, big butt, big nose, big lips, Oreo, mulatto, drama queen, undesirable. She whispered back, I am the original creation crafted from emptiness. Please acknowledge me as nothing less than a queen. You are a queen. And when you finish this book, you would never put your head down again. You would never be shamed again. And you would come out and wear your natural hair if you desire to, or bald headed whenever you please. And in this picture, I was graced to put in this book certain pictures on the beautiness. And with most of my books, I go after artists' titles, like this one right here, Baby Got Back. And I just teach you each one of them, what you go through. These are even though these are 8 is the perfect number. I did 8 chapters. My books is quick because I get to the point. And those 8 chapters is going to be the main whispers that people whisper to you, and society whisper to you. So this book right here, you must have in your family. Give it to every daughter, every sister, every aunt. And if you can't give it to anybody, give it to yourself so you can find your voice again.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. So now at this point, I want you to crack open your books. Well, you kind of already did yours, Phyllis. Phyllis, you already did and we appreciate that. Thank you, because you have an awesome collection. So thank you for sharing. But just kind of crack open your book. Let's start with you, Ashley. Not Ashley. Ashley, where Ashley? Ashley over here. Be scribble. Yes. Kind of share something. Even if you just kind of run down your table of contents, or you just want to share a page from your book or a poem or something. Just crack open your book and share something with us from your book.
Okay, I'll share this little paragraph because, like I said, this book is pretty much going to assist us when we say we love. Do you really? It's going to highlight dark spots that we all have. It's going to, place the light in dark places where you're saying that word, and in all actuality, it's lifeless. So here's where I go.
I know you gotta work with one hand.
Okay.
Gotta work with one hand.
I can do it. All right. The phrase "I have love for you" or "I love you" are used too frequently, without real knowledge or depth. When we operate from real love, then we will give real love. When we give real love and forgive, we will, because we are forgiven. How can we ever not love and forgive when we know that this is God's expression of love and forgiveness daily for us? So, it kind of goes there. So I hope somebody takes away from that and says, who am I? Because that's a question that I ask myself daily.
That's good. Okay. Anybody have any thoughts or anything you want to share with Miss Scribble while she has the mic? Before the mic goes?
Any questions?
Okay.
Yes.
So you mentioned that you wrote the book for people to understand how to love themselves, and that the Creator is your source. So how do you keep yourself on that same path and not go back to the past of how you used to think?
Great question.
That's a great one.
I'm a definite child of God, but a firm believer in renewing my mind in the Word. And so that's a guide and a tool for me. It's a grounding tool to stay grounded, because when I say to myself, who am I? It's not like I don't know who I am. I know who I am, and that's a fullness of God and in His, kingdom. But I also look at that and say to the next person, man or woman, I am not above or below, but that now is my duty to transform everything that I'm given to that extent of humanity. So, it's not one of those things where I say, this is a perfect walk and I got this. No, by any means. We all have trials, even in our own family. I do place some of that in there within our own family. Those are your first tests, I believe, before you can go out into, humanity and say, I'm going to have all these friends. Well, how did you treat the people you were here first with? How do those tests and trials look? Not to say that you all have to be snuggled in a, blanket at all times together. There are some times where you do have to distance. But being grounded in the Word is what has helped me to continue to say, I can renew these trials and regain my strength to be able to pour. You can't pour from an empty cup, and so that's something that I also talked about. How my cup stays full because I go to Him, and how we say, "Oh, I'm tired." Well, He says, "Come to me. My burden is light." So that's where I go, and then I can pour. Thank
That's
you.
good. And Brady, while you still have the mic, go ahead and give them how they can find you. You just gonna
Okay.
each one individually.
Yeah, so I am new to social media, but I'm on Instagram, @bscribble _ and I'm on Facebook, Brandy @bscribble, and TikTok. So @bscribble. Yeah, I'm just starting out, so this is my first book. So bear with me, more things to come, and thank you again, Doc Shop.
And I have one more question. So what caused you to write the book Selfish Love? Like what inspired what happened such that you had to say I want to do I'm going to write this book because it's selfish love.
Yes, ma'am. So great question. What inspired the title? I myself had gotten to a point where I love speaking with people, family, they're the funniest, but just experiences where you'll hear things, and I know in our culture, we'll hear things like, yeah, I'm gonna pay these bills, she's taken care of, right? She all right, it's like you would hear these things. It's like, is that all? Is this all you got to give your family? Is this the bills are paid? And I know that sometimes our culture's taught wrong. So I just went there because I was hearing and just daily interaction a lot of things and experiencing a lot of things that I thought, this cannot be love. This cannot be love. I know what God has for me, and I know what He gives me, and I am to emulate that. So when we hear, that phrase being thrown around, I love you, I gotta, it's minimal, very minimal. Our flesh and our ego have to go when it comes to their words. So I got tired of hearing so many things that limit love, if that makes sense, and they thought that was the fullness of it. So, and other cups are just kind of halfway, out here being half full and trying to pour out, and you getting somebody's trauma, so you getting blood and I don't know. All right, I'm just
Go ahead. That's all that's true.
all right. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, again, my name is Tia Cole, and the title of this book is This Is My Story, This Is My Song, The Power of Testimony and Worship. And I'm just going to read a couple paragraphs from the introduction. So, I am laying myself bare before you in hopes that you will find yourself in one of these stories. Excuse me. And find your way out of turmoil and closer to God because of it. God told me a long time ago that I was going to have to get out of my own way, and this book signifies me giving up control of my image and narrative, as if I ever had control in the first place, so He can do what He has shown me and more. So what is this book or journal about? Well, so many of us walk through life thinking that we are required to have it all together all the time, especially us Christians. It's even worse today in this social media, fake it till you make it news time, where people spend so much time creating images on social media that they lose out on actually creating a life that is social media worthy, if there is such a thing. This thing I call social media reality is stealing peace and joy on a regular basis, as people compare themselves to lives that don't actually exist and long for one-off fame. What's even worse is that social media reality creates this false sense of actual reality where people forget that relationships and success take work and everyone won't become a millionaire, and life is hard and sad sometimes. So this can happen in our regular lives too, and I have to admit that I have fallen victim to the hype. I have spent so much time comparing myself to the best parts of the lives of those around me and on my social media feeds that I have exacerbated my already taxing depression and anxiety, leaving myself defenseless against the joy-stealing negative self-talk loop in my mind. Seeing other people in seemingly successful careers and relationships makes me constantly wonder what's wrong with me. Why can't I have friendships and relationships and success like those people? What I've come to understand over time is that the old adage is true. Everything that glitters is not gold. This has been an important realization for me because it helped me to put my own life and struggles and accomplishments into a healthy perspective. Then it occurred to me, there must be so many more people like me who are worried, thinking they are failing at life because everyone around them seems to be doing so well. There's so much power in our testimony.
Wow, okay. Social media side.
So, like I said, this shares a lot of different stories of my life, the different love relationships that I've had, the different familial relationships that I've had, and so on and so forth, right? Finding myself, finding my purpose. And again, it's inviting you all as the readers, because I know everybody's going to pick it up, to join the journey, right? And have a journey of self-discovery with me, and then find value in those experiences. Because sometimes we think stuff happens, but nothing ever happens in vain. Everything has a purpose. And so finding that purpose sometimes can empower you to move past some stuff.
Okay. Are you on social media? Like, do you do the social media thing?
I have social media for my business. I have a personal Facebook page, Tia Cole, but I have a Facebook page for the business, the Cole Lab LLC, and I have an Instagram for the business, the Cole Lab. Like I said, we're your development destination show. We do coaching, training, leadership training, and all that kind of stuff. So that's mostly what I focus on. And I've built a sort of a brand and a persona, which is why God told me to do this, because I wasn't letting people into the personal side. And how can you really speak into people's lives if you're not really showing your humanness, right? So it's connected in that way.
Okay, awesome. Any other questions for Tia before she passed the mic?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So what was your aha moment? Did you have a moment where you said, I'm going down this path? How did you get to the place where you are now? Like, when did that click for you?
Aha moment for which aspect of my life?
For the testimony that you said that you got to the point where you realized that everything that glitters isn't gold.
Yeah. So I have struggled since I was a child with depression and anxiety. And I got to the point where I had to decide whether or not I was going to choose to live. And
That's real.
really, we make that decision every day. But there were moments when it was like it could go either way, and I had, which I do share in the book, one major instance where I had decided I wasn't going to in the last few years, and so from that moment, God had to really sit me down and speak to me and say, your life has purpose, and your value is not tied up in your relationships with other people or the lack thereof, or how somebody else treats you, or what you can do for other people, because I derived a lot of value from what I could do for other people. I prided myself on being perfect and dependable and that friend that you could call for anything, and it really chipped away at my ability to be myself, and then I decided I didn't know who I actually was. And so while God was working on me, then I had to come to a place where I could find myself. And then as I was finding myself, he said, well, you can't keep this to yourself, because part of not being perfect is letting people see the ugly parts of you as well. So that's where that happened.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing, Tia.
So as we know, I have 2 books. Let me be very clear. If my past wasn't so dark, my future wouldn't shine so bright. It's a breath of, it's a deep breath and heat. If that makes sense, right? So it's a deep breath when you feel like you have nothing left. You can't breathe in and you don't have any more space in your lungs for it. So it's dark and it gets dark quick. But it's so relevant and it's so prevalent and it was so important that I share all of these things, because like Tia mentioned for her book, this is part of my journey. This in fact has been part of my healing journey. So when it comes to what part of the book I want to share, it's such a deep book. It's kind of hard to choose what part to share. So,
Well,
and
actually, I want you to share your self-help, because your life stories, I'm going to put your life stories panel.
then gotcha. That's the easier one. Woo! Dodge that bullet real quick. Okay, so
We'll deal with life stories.
perfect. Then that makes me happier. Okay, so Young and Dumb, guys, is the book that I just published. Again, it's me partnering with my experience of being a mom. I'm a mom of 10, as well as being a serial entrepreneur. I don't care what nobody ever says. I will never, ever give up on my children. So if that means I gotta go to the dirt, if I gotta get out there and start beating pebbles together, you know what I'm saying, to make it work, to figure them out, to reach them, then I will do everything that I feel is absolutely necessary, because that is truly what unconditional love is. So I want to tell you, I'm just going to read y'all the introduction, because I feel like that in itself is a great way to start for this. So, welcome to the world of young entrepreneurs. Welcome, young dreamers, to the exciting world of entrepreneurship. In this book, Young and Dumb, Dreamers Unleashing Motivated Businesses, we're embarking on a journey together to explore the endless possibilities of turning your dreams into successful businesses. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur with a brilliant idea or simply curious about what it takes to start your own venture, you've come to the right place. Now, about this book, Young and Dumb isn't your typical business book. It's designated specifically for young minds ages 7 to 18. It's actually 7 to whatever. Okay. I'm eager to unleash their creativity, passion, and drive to make a difference in the world. Through engaging modules and interactive activities, you'll learn essential principles of entrepreneurship, discover how to craft and launch your business ideas, and explore strategies for growing your impactful businesses.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. And this is your last, this is your closing statement, because we gotta go to the next.
Oh wait, I ain't tell y'all where y'all can follow me.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Y'all just gonna cut me short.
No, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
No. So
Where can we find you?
I can be found everywhere online. Miss Neek Revamp, that's one word. MSNIQUEREVAMP. Even my website is missneekrevamp.com. So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, everything. Thank you.
Okay. And it's interesting you have revamped. What's that about?
Okay, so
Revamp your life?
yeah. So I've always written under Miss Neek. And then I decided, life started lifing, and I started paying attention. Life has always been lifing, but I started paying attention to the life that's been lifing, And I literally I've been on a healing journey, but then I went on a self-love journey, almost like a fulfillment. And what happened was I started with weight loss. I lost over almost 300 pounds. And then when I started losing the weight, I was like, okay, now the hair gotta go. So then I cut all of my hair off, all the way off, like bald. And then that just all started feeling so like freeing. Like it was more than just like shedding pounds. It was more than, I realized that I was revamping myself. And with that, my ideology started to change. My perspective on a lot of things started to change. Things started to appear a bit clearer to me. And so it was important that I added them, because I'm still Miss Neek. I'm still her. She's still me. But I needed to add, like the revamping of it. Like letting you know that I've been dipped in the water and I came out. And I'm like, yeah, I'm still here. Now what? I'm sorry.
Okay.
You already know. Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, you know what? Real quick, closing statement. You got 1 second, 1 minute.
1 second.
Actually, do your one-word checkout. Just don't talk too long, because we don't have time. It's your closing statement.
Okay.
No question.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Anybody got questions for Miss Neek?
Y'all see I'm getting treated.
I'm sorry. Any questions for Miss Neek? She's dealing with the business book. Any questions?
How do you start a business with 10 kids? Like, what inspired you to start a business? Because I feel like 10 kids are a business. So how did you?
Literally.
But
I think it's a really great question. For me, being a mother of 10, you do lose yourself. Your identity becomes your children. So I was determined, no matter how many kids I gave birth to or how many kids came in my life, I was going to continue to have this need. I was going to always need her. What I started to do was that I started realizing that I didn't have time to be somebody different. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a space and the time to do that. So I had to start and basically collaborating who I was as a mother with you know, who I am as a you know, persona, so to speak. And that's the reason why Young and Dumb came about, because it's the best of both worlds, right? It's me having expertise as a parent, right? So, you know, teaching young people, and then also being a serial entrepreneur, which was the other thing I did. So I don't really say that I had time to do it. It happened to me. It was just part of my everyday, and I just found a way to monetize what I was doing, which is what I also teach and coach.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Oh, yeah, Phyllis.
Yeah, let me-
Okay. She has a question.
You have a question? Let me close out, so I guess you can just real quick. First, I wanted to just thank God for the divine connection with my assistant, Rashida Smith, who connected me to the doc.
Oh, we love
Store.
I'm like, that's my friend.
And I am thankful for it, and I already told you all about the book. Just know that if you have any problems from leaders and you want to know where that seed started from and how to get rid of that seed that's telling you that you're nobody, and it might have been coming from your mom or your father or even a pastor, this is the book for you. Remember this one, Birdology. Why did they beat us for the word? Look, what you're going to get out of this one, I'm going to teach you to take that word and use it to your best. This one for every brown and black woman, this will help your self-esteem, because at the end of the day, you will realize that you're a queen. For the men, you can give this to your wife, your whoever, and just realize I am making her a queen so she can be good for all the kings out there. So with that being said, I'm Phyllis Whitley, not Phyllis Wheatley, and you can find me on Facebook, Phyllis Whitley, Instagram, Self Whisper, Vibes, Spiritology, name from this is my podcast, Spiritology Live everywhere. And the last thing I actually want to say is, if loving yourself is right, you don't want to be wrong. What is my question?
My question is for anybody who wants to get started writing a book, what advice would you give to them?
The first thing I would tell people, a lot of people they say, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to write. You have pain, write out of your pain, write about your pain, write about something that you know you went through. But the first thing you have to have is the foundation, I feel, with God. You have to have God as the foundation, because He will lead you to each chapter. It will be a divine connection, and He'll lead you to the right people. He might even lead you to the doc bookstore, because where you can go ahead and you can voice yourself. Again, I help those people who have been traumatized, compromised, and they lost their voice. I'm Phyllis Whitley. It was my pleasure being here.
All right, let me close y'all out.
Let's get a close. Miss Whitley is in charge of everything.
Oh my goodness.
No,
Y'all
that's
all get
fine.
that close,
I'm
right?
like, nope, I want the microphone. I want it, no microphone.
Oh my goodness.
I'm through.
Okay, do one word.
I'm through. I'm through.
One word.
You count. No, Miss Tia, nope. I ain't counting.
All right, you know what? You can find them at their tables. How about that? Give these ladies a hand. We appreciate you, doing the self-love and testimony and business and words. Definitely meet them at their table and greet them and buy a book. And we're going to get ready for our next session. We got to keep it flowing. So thank you so much, ladies.